Hey, there we go. Welcome back to the live stream. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And I see a couple folks in the chat room there. All different times they're tuning in. Welcome back to the live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is July, right? July? Yeah, it's still July 31st, 2019. And we're going to write a little bit of code today. Oh my goodness.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic, and we're putting it on wax. It's the new style. Drop.
I'm not sure where the double's coming from. I've been getting that on the first cheer every time. Thank you so much for that very kind cheer, Carrie. Oh my goodness. 700 bits. Let me finish introducing myself and we'll go through that. My name is Jeff Fritz, and we're going to write a little bit of code today. I got my blue Azure hat on. One of my Azure hat designs, has been going on a tour of Canada, it seems. Speaking of Ms. Carrie Payette, if you check out the channel Discord, you can execute the Discord command there in the chat room. You'll learn all about our Discord, and you can click through and you can see some of the places that this, not this Azure hat, but another Azure hat just like this, has been through Canada. Thanks so much for sharing those pictures, Carrie. Yeah, there we go. There's a link to the Discord server. Good, so good to see everybody tuned in here, and folks sharing the times from their different time zones here. So I mentioned Carrie, Cryptic Coder, good afternoon. Engstrom Jimmy is here. Hey, how's it going, Jimmy? Oh my gosh, we need to do something about that. We'll throw Jimmy a VIP there. He's a longtime friend. Great to see you. Unhip Coder, hello. Boomy, good afternoon. Raziel Descartes, good morning. Asinxis. 11 p.m. in Japan. Oh my gosh, is that Rochmanian? Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you tuning in. Lannon's here. Lannon's another member of the Live Coders team. It's not going to read it. What mischief indeed. Good to see you there, Svava. 740 in India, says Raziel Descartes. Oh my goodness. Kasukin. Oh my goodness. And let's see, Legendary Moo. What bot am I using to handle chat commands? That's my own bot. You can find it on the GitHub under the Fritz Stream Tools project. Final day of July. Yep, we're going to be doing some more Blazor work today. Absolutely. Came here for a little bit of Fritz fuel. We'll get things started right. We'll have a good time. Oh, thanks for sharing the link, Landon. Very much appreciate that. Welsh Ronaldo, good morning. Now, we did the hair yesterday. So, for those of you that didn't see, I dyed the hair a little blue there. So, I'm feeling good about that. Oh my goodness. I think for the Australian, etc. folks, it's already tomorrow. Some of them, maybe, right on the edge there. Good morning. Oh my gosh, JAF1021 is here. Good morning. It's great to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Look at all these friends tuning in. Thank you. Blazor Mr. Magoo. Now, did you rename yourself from SQL Mr. Magoo to Blazor Mr. Magoo? Let me know. Ancient Coder, good to see you. Copper Beardy, Welsh Ronaldo. Oh my goodness. RJFO306 is here too. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. The G Fuel command there. There you go. Flav Creations, good morning. We ran into Flav Creations last night on Fierce Kitten's channel. She's going to be doing some coding on Friday on GIFBot. We've got her real close to being able to release a .NET Core version of her Windows Forms based bot. Windows Forms. Yes, got that right. Very cool stuff. Lannon's got an emote out. Oh, that is very cool. Ancient Coder Blazor. Now, come on now. Oh, Poland, says Tom Thunderforest. Oh my gosh. Everybody, you're flattering me with all the great folks that are here from all over the world. Arts Plunge asks, where can I get some Blazor merchandise to help spread the word? So there isn't any official merchandise yet. You can download the logo. I downloaded the logo and I got my local embroidery shop to stitch it on a hat for me. I know that the company Lids has embroidery machines in their stores now at malls around the United States. You can walk in there with a logo and they'll stitch it on a hat for you. Oh my gosh, other folks from Romania are here. Fantastic. Flav Creation says, I will be a live coder yet. Terrific. That's great. We've got a very simple set of requirements, just to make sure that folks are committed or going to be around the platform for a while. They have a positive and outgoing community, a channel that they're fostering, and they do a little bit of education. They answer questions. They talk to the chat room. That's it. There's a couple folks out there that have tried to apply that don't talk to their chat room at all. Like, it's silent. And that's not what we're looking for. So,
to just resubscribed for 5 months.
Thanks so much for the resub, and we'll make another donation to Coder Dojo, like we are for all of our cheers and all of our subs this quarter. Check in with Ed Charbonneau. Ed does have some things that he's been doing. Yes. HR Book, good to see you. That defeats the purpose of Twitch. Yes, it does a little bit. It does. Scaffolding authorization have some bugs to still fix. Yes, we're going to go through and talk about that today. Second time it happened, click on my stream, it goes to an old one. That's interesting. All right, that happened to the folks on the Visual Studio channel last night. We were being hosted over on the Visual Studio channel. They started their show about a half hour after I started, and Twitch didn't knock down the hosting and start putting on the broadcast they were airing. So that's weird. That's really weird. Oh my goodness. Keep Clinton Rocksmith as the Bits for Bytes leader. Give others the chance. Well, I'll tell you what, Carrie. If you do win, you're welcome to pass that title on to somebody else. And I'm going to reach out to some folks and get scheduling on our well overdue Bits for Bytes promotions here. Bits for Bytes, of course. If you're the number one cheerer at the end of the month, it's right at the top of the chat right over here. If you're watching on the website, if you're the number one person at the end of the month, I'll offer you an opportunity to come on and pair program with me. We'll work on a project with you. Maybe there's something you want to show, and we'll have a good time together on stream as a thanks for helping contribute and lead our community. Back to a lot of lag. Was waiting on the Visual Studio channel, switched over to YouTube when there was something. It felt like there was a bug on Twitch last night. I saw a number of funny things on Twitch last night that just didn't feel quite right. All right, let's get some music playing here in the background, and we'll talk about where we're going with our project today. We're continuing work with Blazor, C#, HTML, and native code that executes in the browser client side, not on the server. So let's get some music playing today. I played blue last night. I need another bluish color here, so I think I got to go for cyan. There we go. This is music to code by from our friend Mr. Carl Franklin. It's been scientifically engineered. It's been designed to get you in the groove, to get you in the flow. Whether it's writing code, doing homework, studying for a test, doing the dishes, housework, yard work, whatever the case might be. It'll help get you focused on whatever that task is. And all the other worries, the other things that you might be concerned about kind of fade away, and you get in that state of flow. And you're going to be able to focus and get done whatever that task is and have a really good time at it. Thanks so much for letting us listen to your music, Carl. Check out Music to Code by. It's also Music to Flow by. There you go. Carrie already executed the music command in the chat room. mtcb.pwop.com. You can get your copy and let our friend Carl Franklin know on Twitter that you enjoy listening to his music. Lannon's pointing out about 870 followers to go. Yeah, look at the gauge here. So if we get that number out to 8,000 before September 15th, that's 45 days away. And we've got to get about another 800 folks in there. I will dye my beard rainbow for TwitchCon and for Dotnet Conf. I'm one of the hosts of Dotnet Conf. I will be there live. We have more than we have more than 40 hours. 40 hours of live content coming to you on Twitch. And I will be your host for a large chunk of that. And I will have my beard dyed rainbow as a salute to you, our amazing Twitch community if we can help get that number out to 8,000. Thank you for reminding me, Landon. All right. Yeah, there we go. I think the music's getting properly groovy here. All right, let's head over to our code. Let's talk about the project and how we're proceeding here, because I think we're getting into some very interesting parts here. Got to get your submissions in for .NET Conf. Yes, .NET Conf submissions close in 2 weeks. Everybody's eligible to submit. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. North America, South America, Europe, Africa. We're going to have presenters from every continent. We're going to have presenters from every time zone. And you'll be able to present in a time that's appropriate to your time zone, because we go on the third day for 24 hours straight. We start at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We go right through the evening to 5 p.m. Pacific time the next day. So everybody gets a chance to see .NET Conf and great .NET-centric content. Might not necessarily be just .NET, but maybe it's Visual Studio. Maybe it's a little Azure. Maybe it's some DevOps. Some content around that touches on .NET that you're going to be able to see in your time zone at a time that's appropriate for you, not at 3 in the morning. Know what I mean? So go ahead, put in a submission for .NET Conf. Go to .NETconf.net. That's weird. Let me put it in the chat room. .NETconf.net. And there's a submission link at the bottom of that page that you can send to. Why don't I just bring it up on the screen, huh, Jeff? Huh, Jeff? Why don't you do that? .NETconf.net. There it is. Check it out. .NET Conf, September 23 to 25. I need to put a logo on the page here. There it is. I'm interested in speaking. Click through there. It'll take you through to Paper Call, and you'll be able to submit over there. All right. Ancient Coder. The chat compliments my amazing hosting skills. Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you. Thank you, Ancient Coder. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's talk about the project. Let's take a look. Let me put that logo up there just a little bit more so folks can take a screenshot, right? Hey, right? There it is, right there. I don't know. Okay. Let's head over to the project, which is here, and I think it's just called, right, Resource Management. This is our resource management application. This is to help us manage the schedules for volunteers, for employees at a nonprofit organization called Sebastian Writing Associates. These folks, they provide equine therapy. They help teach, whether they're physically challenged, mentally challenged, individuals, kids, a little bit of horsemanship. Get them outside some of those challenges that they might have. Let them focus on spending some time with horses, spending some time doing something that they wouldn't normally do. And it really helps to break some of those folks out of the mold. They might be on the spectrum. They might have whatever challenge. And they're going to learn and have a good time, spending some time with a little equine therapy. So we're going to help them out. We've been building this scheduling application that runs with Blazor and is going to allow them to manage the availability of some of their volunteers and folks that help their organization. So when we get that minimum viable product finished, I will make a delivery to them, and we're going to have them on the stream, so we can do a little discussion with them, talk about features, and talk about what that next set of requirements are. I've just pitched out here a couple of projects to define, maybe this is some of the things that we want to do, with no real definition as to milestones and when we want that. All right, thank you for the follow. So we'll see where this lands. We've got a couple ideas. We've got a couple thoughts about how we want to make this work. And that's okay. We'll figure these out. We'll schedule it appropriately after I get a chance to talk to them. But we've been working through a list of issues here. This is fixed now. We got a fix here from Sean that we merged last night. There it is. So I'm just going to close this issue because it is merged. Let's take a look at some of the other issues that we have here so that we can go through and fix them. Simon provided us... I didn't say JavaScript. Well, we do have the horses. Okay. All right. Hey, Nick Larson. Happy Wednesday. We did migrate things into view models for our Blazor components. Ooh, I nearly messed that up. And we started implementing these last night. We got them all set up and working with our project, and it's all merged in. It does build properly now, so I will close this one. Okay. It had a red X on it, but we've got it working. This is the next piece that we need to do here is expand the schedules on the server. We did add menu items for the availability report. That's done. And I did add a menu item for availability. We still have to secure these so that you have the appropriate credentials in order to access those pages. But I will close them for now because they're on there. This is the piece we're going to be working on today, right here. Security in the web client. We did make a lot of progress last night. You're right, Sean. Chat gets some equine therapy with the JavaScript command. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes. So we're going to be doing a little bit more with the security in the web client. We've already got authentication on the server. We completed that last night, so I'm going to check that one. A controller to send authentication and claim information to the web client. We built it. I'm still making sure we're sending the claim information over, but I'm going to check that for now. And we need to finish this last piece, the web client assets to enforce the authentication and authorization. That's the last piece, and that's where we're going to pick up today. We previously had the application built so that you had to log in, and in order to get to availability, you're defining your availability, and the managers being able to see a manager report. That's where we're going to pick up and finish here is we've enforced that you need to be logged in to get to that data on the server. Now we need to go to the client and give you a way to click through to the login page, receive that login information, and then thank you. Transmit that appropriately back to the server. And it's actually easier than it sounds. We've already got a couple of pieces built and ASP.NET provides for us. So we're going to connect that up, start passing, I think we're going to start passing some role information, right? We'll set up a role for management, right? For who a manager is. So we know that on the web client, and we can display that manager report link appropriately. Sound good, chat room? What do you think? Am I on the right page here? Am I landing and talking through our status and where we're going to go with this appropriately? I think I'm on the right page. I'm looking to you, chat room. Yeah, I've got some +1s there. Sounds great. Okay, keep me in check here, chat room. I'm trusting you. You're my other pair of eyes here, right? Verifying and making sure things run properly. I've been working in a branch here. Oh, you can't see it behind me there. That I created, excuse me, called Spike Security. I've been spiking. Let me build the security piece. Let me make sure that this works. Migrate everything over. If it doesn't work, I'll go back and try something else. I think I've got that. We've got this just about working.
Mordzuba just resubscribed for 10 months. Hat matches the hair. D.
Thanks so much, Mordecai. I really appreciate that. 10 months. Oh my goodness. That's going to, yep, that keeps you in a green hat. And we'll make another donation to Coder Dojo. All right, let's, I've got a couple of pull requests that I need to merge in to update the bot with some cool new features like that tacos command from our friend John Callahan. We need to do that. We need to get that tacos command loaded up. We will get there. All right. Let's see here. So I left off, I believe it was right here. so that we challenge appropriately for the authentication scheme. Force people, hey, you're trying to get to this thing, you need to be logged in. And I copied over, excuse me, I copied over the capabilities from the Blazing Pizza demo, which used Twitter to do login. Now, we're not using Twitter. We're just using identity, not Microsoft Identity, with a local SQLite database. At some point, we'll push that out. Maybe we'll use something like Auth0 or Okta and allow those folks to manage the users and the role assignment. But for right now, keeping it local for this minimum viable, I think, is fine. As we start to take it into a production space, we'll look at using a third-party provider to offload some of those features, some of that capability, so that we don't have to build it for the user management features. Otherwise, right now, I need to create a screen that says, here's the current users, here's the roles they belong to, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to do that. It's yak shaving that I don't need. I could even bring in Identity Server if I really want to manage it myself. So, all right. All of our pages, all of our components work, but I need to do this here, and I think I also need, let me go back to the solution. Let me go back to the Solution Explorer. And that is Karnak that you see in the top left. That'll tell you all the hotkeys that I use and what the hotkeys do as I click through the application. Okay. Let's see here. So, I need, thinking out loud, thinking. I need a login button that'll take you to the login page, right? And I need to make sure that that routes you appropriately outside of Blazor. When you run Blazor, just like with other JavaScript single-page applications, you kind of get into this sandbox where all the URLs that you're navigating to are fake. They don't really exist. You're kind of bouncing around other features of JavaScript functionality. Same thing happens with Blazor. You're going to click on links and you're going to bounce around inside of the Blazor application. And that gets a little bit confusing. That, right, when I want to break out of there, I want to get outside that single-page application, and I want to log into a real web page and route back to the Blazor app. I need to make sure that I actually depart, right, that it knows that I'm leaving, and that route shouldn't be handled by Blazor, right? Because
60% of the time, it works every time.
Yeah. Ecomath asks, did you ever find out why Visual Studio Code in IntelliSense wasn't working for you with .NET Core 3? No, and I did not. And I've reached out to the .NET team that is responsible for that, and they can't figure it out either. It just flat out doesn't work. So I've got a couple emails, so I've swapped back and forth with them. It's been a day or two since I've heard from them. I'm going to push on them a little bit and see if we can find anything out there, because I hope you're not having the same problems that I'm having with it. Because if I'm having it just by upgrading my Visual Studio Code, a lot more people are going to be having it also, having that same problem. Azure B2C for user management asks Legendary Moo. I don't think so. Services like that from Azure are very heavy-handed. There's a lot that you do there, and this is not something that needs to be big enterprise-grade thing. I don't need to be spending hundreds of dollars a month for that level of security when I can stand up an identity server for pennies. I can run Auth0 for less than 5,000 users free. So why spend the money on Azure for this organization? They're a nonprofit. They don't have the money for that. That kind of nickel and diming from Azure for a small project, I want to avoid. I want to penny pinch. I want to make this as cheap as possible for them to be able to run. Can you use auth and AD to create users with, say, admin rights? Is it difficult? Maybe a group? Yes, you can. Nothing else matters. You can do that. You can issue that back through the providers here and have it create that stuff. Yes. Question from Pluto Nan. Could you explain what the difference between server-side and client-side Blazor is, and when to use which? Client-side Blazor is, let's go to Blazor.net, because there's a nice diagram in here. This one? There we go. So there's that and that. Okay, so this is client-side Blazor. Client-side Blazor runs on the UI thread, and it runs natively in the browser. So you're compiling DLLs, .NET DLLs, that run on top of Mono, the Mono runtime, that runs a special version of the Mono runtime that's been compiled to execute in the WebAssembly feature of your browser. Everybody's browser has this, and everybody's browser was upgraded to have it because of Spectre and Meltdown, those two flaws that we heard about back in 2018. Well, everybody had to upgrade their browser. Everybody now has WebAssembly, even mobile devices. So WebAssembly hosts the Mono runtime, and we compile it against .NET Standard, which also runs on the Mono runtime. So you can run it in your browser. Server-side Blazor is an ASP.NET Core web server that executes those same Blazor components on a server, and when the browser requests that content, instead of it going and doing a full refresh of the entire page, it reloads using SignalR. You have a SignalR connection, which is an abstraction over WebSockets and other live connection facilities back and forth to the server. So when you click or you do something, it makes that SignalR request, and when the component is done rendering on the server, just the changes to the markup are sent to the browser, and it repaints those areas of the screen. The advantage of this is it always runs on the server. You're going to have a consistent experience, and you're not sending huge DLLs down to the client like you are here. But the flip side of that is you have to wait for the server to respond. You're going to have every person that makes a request getting that data off the server. So that's the trade-off between the two. When would you choose which? Jury's still out. The jury is out. It's something that we're trying to figure out, to be perfectly honest. If you have a lot of processing that your application does, a lot of math, you want to do 3D geometry, you want to shape objects and have models that roll around on the canvas, move around on the canvas, and you want to do a lot of math there, and you like using .NET and C#, run it client-side. If you're just formatting angle brackets and curly braces for HTML like we are here, you could run it in either location and you'll be just fine. Thank you for the follow, Boss EV. I appreciate that, and look forward to seeing you in the chat room. All right. So that's the difference between the two different Blazors. So we're going to do this here. And Stelzy commented, the login form and actual login will be completed on the server and not the login form on client Blazor that asks a login API controller to give it a JOT. Yes. I'm going to route over to the server, let it do all of those things, so I'm just interacting there, pass the information back. So because we're mapping Razor pages, I think we can leave this here because it'll mean that our login happens outside of it. But if we don't have a Razor page that it finds, it'll try to route things through client-side Blazor. So our Razor page for login is actually under identity, and it's like login. There it is, login. So yeah, thinking that through then, we can go to our here it is, our Blazor project over here, and in our shared we have nav menu over here. I can add another component, right? All right, I'll do add new item. Razor component. That needs to say Blazor component. Know what I mean there, friends? And I'm going to make this the login component. Thank you. And I want to do almost the exact same thing that we saw in the Blazing Pizza sample. I'm going to have the user information. The user information is available. I need to put that into my state, don't I? After I request it? Because I don't want to HTTP request it every time. How did we do it in Blazing Pizza? Now I'm curious. How did we do that in Blazing Pizza? Did it request? It didn't request it every time. Yeah, there it is. All right, and in source, yep, client, shared, login display. Here it is. They put an authorized view around this. Ah, that was after we had the feature for an authorized view, which, right, came in down here. No. Where's it getting that? I'm going to copy this. Let's see what happens. Because I'm trying to remember here. Okay, authorized view is an internal thing. Okay. So, context user identity name. Okay, it has that. We should be all right. There are also pizza workers. Eventually we'll get to that, yes. So, what's going on over here? Okay, that's fine. So I should be able now to take this and put it at the end of that navigation, right? So it's going to be inside the collapse. We're going to add another Blazor navigation item. Oh my gosh, who's our new follower there? Amustu, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you joining us. And look forward to seeing you in the chat room. Instead of having a Blazor strap navigation link here, Chewbecca87, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. No, I'm not going to have that. Go away. I'm going to have just the login control here. Oh my gosh. Montenegri, thanks so much for the follow. The follow train is strong. Welcome, everybody. So that should add the login to the end of there, and we should be able to see what that looks like. And then I'll go back over and set up the challenge so that it forces you to log in when you click the login button, or when you go somewhere that you don't have access to. Is that music too quiet? I think it is. Look at that. Happy stream, joyous sentiment, positive analysis. Indeed. Indeed, indeed. And I feel like we're going to... And then we're going to need to put some information here on the index. All right, so it says, hey, this is what this page does. I've got these 3 dots here, and that doesn't look right at all. I don't feel right about that. Right? Those 3 dots are coming up because it's this. It's still authorizing. That didn't work. That didn't work at all. Yeah, let's go back over to the workshop and let's take a peek at what happened in that authorized section. Make sure we're doing that right here. Right? So we've got the authorize on attribute on some of my controllers, so it forces you to be authorized, to be authenticated to do that. I have this authentication state provider already defined inside my web client. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Oh, it's not going to the right place. Well, that'll explain it. Should be going to /API/user because my user controller is at... Oh, wait a sec. I didn't define the route on this. I want that top level route. Now I should be able to get it. Get some information about the user, which should return the logged out user. I need to also drop in that cheer from Carrie a little bit ago. And still nothing. Okay. Do we have an error here? Oh, yes we do. Authorization requires a cascading parameter of type task authentication state. Ah, I know what this is. Okay. Hey, John Calloway. Good to see you. Yeah, let's set a project. Oh man, Carrie is on the ball. Look at that. Thank you very much, Carrie. And I'm going to put this piece in to fix this, and we should, right? There we go, this bit right there. And I'll extend an offer if anybody wants to connect to my live share and be able to navigate around the application if you'd like. I will make that available. So, I was swapping emails with the live share team this morning. Really, really neat features they're working on. They're prototyping that I'm looking forward to them sharing. So, okay, that right. Da, 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 da. That should do it. So let's set up live share. Sign in with GitHub. Going. It's a little known fact that if you spin your mouse like this, websites will reload faster. It's completely true. Okay? Yeah. You know. Let's make it read only. If you want to join the live share, there's the link. You're welcome to click through and log in. And if you have Visual Studio 2017 with the live share extension, if you have Visual Studio 2019, or if you have Visual Studio Code, go ahead and click that link and you can open up and you can get into our project that we're working on here and wander around. Space Shots here. Hello. Miha Zupin can confirm. What? Can confirm what? What's the context there? Help me out. What are you confirming? Moving mouse improves website load time. Absolutely. It's like a little hamster. You spin there and you can make sure that we all confirmed, huh? All right, I'm going to... There we go. Now we're getting some folks connecting. Roger. Philippe Oliveira, welcome. All right, let's restart this. Make sure... I want to get that login button to appear, and then I'll set up so that we can actually do the connection thing here, so that we can show people actually logging into the application. Yep, Control F5 just to get through, and no, it's still not. I'm still not getting the connection there. Holy cannoli here. So this tells me we're getting some bad data coming back. Let's take a look at the network. And if you're connected, this should have launched it should have launched on your machine? Is the shared server there? No. Oh, my bad. All right, I will get this set up for the next launch of this. It's supposed to set that up automatically for you. Manage the shared server. This one. There we go. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is it's trying to load the user right here. Let me click on that. The response was it returned the index page. It didn't actually go. Well, it's still going to the wrong place, right? Look at that. It's going to /API/user. Well, actually, that should have been. Yeah, that should have gone to the controller, our user controller over here. Right? Route /API/controller. That should have gone to user controller. What happened? Because that's the same syntax that we have for our schedule controller. Route API/controller, and it's an API controller. What did we do? What did we do? Has the live share team fixed the shared server? No. Do I have a base URL set on the Blazor client? I do not. But it is requesting from there, right? Network. Right? It is going to localhost whatever /API/user. It navigated to the right place. Right? That's right. That should have triggered this, and it didn't. Oh, wait a sec. Rats. Get rid of that. Right. Get rid of that. So that it's API user and then this appropriate action name after it. The Blazor router will think API is one of its routes. No, actually it doesn't. Right, when you look here, it's not the server side. Blazor picks it up appropriately. We're good. We're good. Right? Let me rerun this, and those of you that are connected on live share, you're going to get a fresh copy of the application launching in a browser for you. Mr. HD Penguin, what coding language do I use? Yep, there you go. The bot answered that one correctly. There we go. Now it showed up right. Haha! It doesn't look right, but it's there. We'll format that appropriately. No problem, Mr. HD Penguin. Thanks so much for joining us. Oh, and thank you for the follow. What language do you use, and what tools do you use, Mr. HD Penguin? I try to share and use a whole bunch of different ones here on stream, but I'm primarily around the Microsoft tool set. So we'll fix that layout. That shouldn't be too bad here, right? Right, that's an LI class item, class nav item. Okay, that's fine. And then this div class user info, blah, blah, blah. I want this to be just an ahref user class nav item nav link active. It's not a nav link, but I think we're pretty close there. Let's see. So the login component over here, right? I think we're going to end up getting rid of that, but we'll see. So sign in, that's what it's showing. Oh, I closed the browser, didn't I? There we go. So, and that href, that's wrong. Well, no, that'll click through and it should route to the login page. I think we'll be okay there. App.razor have all those cascading parameters. What cascading parameters? I think we're okay. So what happens when I click sign in there? Oh, rats, I closed the browser. Let me restart. And we'll look at doing the formatting of this thing in a second here. Right, so when I click it, it's going to /user/sign-in. I'm going to go to /API /user/sign-in. Excuse me, which should challenge and then route you over to the identity sign-in pages. Mr. HD Penguin, only 16. Oh, welcome. There is no only here, right? I'm only whatever age I am. Please, all ages are welcome, of course. I'm very new to programming, learned a bit of console-based Python in school, as I had to do it as part of an exam, but since then I've started to learn C#. I also have a brief view on HTML, CSS, and a tiny bit of PHP and JavaScript. You want to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, C# and WPF. Oh my goodness. Yeah, welcome. Tell you what, check out the Live Coders team. It's right over, there's a link to it right over there. You can execute the Live Coders command. We've got 65 folks that program in all of those technologies. They're all very welcoming, very eager to help out new folks, especially young folks that are interested in learning and advancing your career, getting a little bit of knowledge. Maybe there's a hobby program that you want to write a little bit of code for. You got to check it out. You're going to find some folks in there that you're going to connect with, you're going to have a good time with. Yeah, look at that. Carrie loves XAML, and Carrie, CPayette there, specializes in IoT development. She's been doing a lot of great stuff with Internet of Things, the little devices like a Raspberry Pi. Where'd my Pi? I had a Pi here somewhere. Where'd the Pi go? I think it's on the other side of the green screen. But all kinds of stuff that you can do with that. And you can check that out with Carrie. We saw Landon BR was here earlier. He's doing some great stuff with Gatsby. Gatsby JavaScript you can see out there. WPF, yeah. We're probably going to raid our friend Mark Miller Code Rushed a little bit when we're done here. He's doing some stuff with WPF and web development to render dice rolling and characters for a Dungeons and Dragons game inside the browser from WPF. It's really cool. XAML is still a thing, yeah. Some folks really swear by it. Yep, Dungeons and Dragons. Thanks for the shout out there, Ancient Coder. Yeah, we'll probably raid over to Mark when we're done here. He's always got some really neat stuff that he's building there. The graphics and imagery are amazing. All right, I need to change this. But part of me is thinking, maybe I was right before, not to have the route up here, and make this just just user, and maybe these are fine as user/sign-in and user/sign-out, right? Because these two. That feels like a normal address to go to. So I think I'm okay with those. And right, so that would route appropriately, and that would. So I need to also then change and modify how it's doing the user authentication, right? So that's here. Instead of /API/user, I want to get it just /user, and it should work then. Let's give it a shot. Have a good one, John. Take care. Great to see you. Make sure you check out the Six Figure Developer Podcast. John Calloway and his friends host. Really great podcast. Do you have a link for that, John, you can share with us real quick as you're heading out? Six Figure Developer Podcast. There it is. There we go. That's them. John Calloway, Clayton Hunt, and John Ash. There's a link. Make sure you check out John Calloway's podcast. Really great stuff. And they're getting into doing a little bit more live streaming their guests, so you can see a little bit of video while they're recording the full podcast. Let's see. So I'm back over here on the index page. I'll fix that sign in. Honest, I will. So now, right, it resolved properly that I wasn't signed in. When I click that now, it routes to user sign in, which... Okay. I didn't finish putting the challenge piece in here that says, you must be signed in. So that's why nothing came back, right? And I've got nothing here. It's not doing the challenge yet. So we need to put the authentication challenge back in there. And
60% of the time, it works every time.
No. It's going to work every time, not 60% of the time. I don't know what you're thinking. Now we're at this piece. Now we need to say, challenge, you must be appropriately configured here. So our authentication scheme on the server, right? Where is it? It's here somewhere. Or is it up in the identity? Right? Look at all that crap. Here it is.
Oh my.
That's not where it is. Where is it that we configured authentication before? Cookie policy options. No. We didn't. Is that it? Is that all we did? Might be it. I mean, in which case, right? It's back over here. Right? And I'll be able to get rid of this. And I'm going to put in Carrie's cheer right here. Because this is the first little bit of code that we're going to crank through here. Thanks so much for that, cheer. Now, instead of Twitter as the authentication scheme, isn't it like cookie something? Cookie... Right, what's the default one to do the challenge async? Can I get away with just challenge async? String scheme, or I can just say authentication properties using the default challenge scheme. That works. Yeah, you're right, Ancient Coder. I didn't need to put anything else. Good call. Thank you. Thank you.
Wait, let me explain something to you.
Ancient Coder already did. Okay. Let's give that a shot now. You usually use the user manager. Okay. Close that window. Let this restart. Mia Zupan says, curious, what does an interview for the .NET team look like these days? I read about Microsoft overall, but I'm wondering if it's substantially different. Sorry if off topic. Not a problem, Mia. Actually, have I got some information for you. So there's two different sides to the .NET team. There's the program management side, and there's also the engineering side. Depending on whether you want to be an engineer or you want to be a program manager on the team, there's two different approaches. But it's mostly the same at this point, where they're not going to sit you down and say, step up to the whiteboard and write me a hashing function. No. Instead, there's a very clear and deliberate process that's been set up where they're going to tell you about a problem ahead of time. They're going to show you a GitHub issue. And they're going to ask you, they'll show you that like a day or two before the event, the interview. When you have the interview, they're going to ask you questions about that issue that they shared with you. That way, you've had time to research, to think about it, and talk to them about what you would do. Because that's what you would be doing if you were an engineer or you were a program manager. You'd be given an issue and said, hey, go fix this. But in real world, you're going to actually spend some time researching and figuring out, well, what's the best way to address it. And that's a little bit of what they're going through now. What I would suggest is, if you go to my YouTube channel and you look for the interview that we did with John Montgomery, that's not it. That's not it either. yet. Excuse me, got a little phlegm there. Oh, and I closed my browser. Rats. All right, let me restart that. So if you go to the YouTube channel here, let's see if we can find that real quick. No, we don't want to see Hairboy there. Videos, and if we look for John Montgomery is a tremendous resource for the team here, and this is me still learning how to do some things here. John is vice president of the developer division, in charge of a little bit of the .NET team. Check out that video. The time link on that is wrong, but he talks about the interview process and what it's like to hire good folks in the technology industry. I think you'll be very interested in what he has to share with us. Did I close my browser again? No, it's over here. So now if I click the sign in, does it? Yes! Do it! I think I will. Okay. This is good. I need to add my migrations. There are pending model changes, so I need to set up my database. We did the thing! John's available on Twitter if you want to reach out to him, Mia. Very open to those kinds of career discussions. I think that's very valuable for anybody in our industry to have a leader that's willing to discuss what they're looking for and what their process is, because it's not about improving just Microsoft. It's also about making sure we have a good industry, right? And let's address what we're doing poorly as an industry and set some leadership, some thought leadership around it. And I think he's done a great job of that. Somebody clip that so we can submit that for when my review comes through. Can you? Kidding. Totally kidding. You're
about to get a serious beatdown.
No, I'm not. No. All right, so we made some changes to our user object. We need to finish enhancing that. But it did the login thing. Already done. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Lee.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Oh, it does. All right. Let's see. So previously, if you weren't watching last night, we enhanced our user object here. I'm feeling really good about where we are. Let's go back into here. We enhanced the user object because it made sense to us. It made sense to us to start passing this piece right here. It's over there. I've got to get my angle down because the camera's over here. It's weird. But we added the ability to pass that schedule information around. So if I look at the user that's stored in the database, we've defined the schedule ID as a claim that we're going to persist and have information about. And actually, I don't care about it here, do I? Am I overthinking this, chat room? Have I double stored it? Oh, you ran the Scott command and it didn't call him. What? That should have called him. No, why am I not getting it? Am I not getting... Oh, you know what? I created a bunch of different Scots. That's the one that's broken. I'm going to take that as an action item here. So I've got 11 different Scott sound effects. 11. We need to fix that in the bot. So... Mia says, applied for the networking team in the process of stalking other .NET members. Good luck to you, Mia. Best of luck. Love that wallpaper. Rocking the current one also. Nice. If I have the authorized user details, yes, ancient coder, that's exactly it. If I have the authorized user details, do I need the schedule ID as a claim? I don't think so. Right? Over here, thinking this through and see if you can follow with me here, chat room. In my user controller, I don't need this right now, and I don't need that. I'm clicking a lot here. I should be doing this. Yeah, something like that. I want to go to the user controller. So I've got this user information object that I'm passing back and forth to the client so that it knows some information about who the user is. But I'm saying user get claim value as int here to get the claim. If in the login page, oh rats, give me this one. Right, we sign in. Where is it? It's here somewhere. I know it is. On post, it wasn't in the login. It was in the register. Right, in the register model, page model. There we go. So we create the user with the person's schedule ID. Do we need the claim also? I don't think we do. The Scott command not working is a world-ending bug for this stream. Scott! You might be onto something, Stelzy. Tell you what, chat room. Let's clear this up so the login works. If I commit the changes, we should have about 20 minutes, 15 minutes left. Should we go fix the Scott command after that? We can go fix the Scott command. I agree. I don't think I need the schedule ID here because it's up here. The person ID I think I do need. And then? We'll redeploy the bot when we have the Scott command fixed. Bring back Scott. See that? We need to bring back Scott. So I'm going to get rid of that one. I still need to get the schedule ID in here, which means I still need to update the user. That also means there was someplace else where we were getting, right? I made this enhancement here. Get claim values as an integer. And I did it here for getting the user information. Well, if instead I get the user manager, right? If I request the user manager, I can get that user object directly. Know what I mean, Vern? I think I'm going to do that. So let's go back over to user controller here. Let's create a constructor here. And for those of you that aren't familiar with some of these concepts, we're going to use something here called dependency injection. This is an architecture pattern that we're going to use here so that we're receiving this user manager object in our constructor for the class. That's a dependency. I need one of these in order for the class to operate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save off a field for that user manager. And actually, I really wish I could get it to recommend using my preferred format with the underscore for the beginning of these read-only fields that we're not going to expose outside of here. So what I can do now, right, is I should be able to go and use the user manager. Where is it? Right. I don't want to create. I want to get the user from the user manager. The user equals user manager get user async. There we go. And I'm going to get it for the current user that's logged in. So now it'll have for me my user object. Do I need the this? I don't know. No, you're right. There we go. So now I have the user here, so I could return the user info object, right? That the user object here, this is a database specific implementation. The user information it's a view model. It's not database specific, and it's got some other information in it that we can use here. So user identity name, that's fine. Is authenticated true. Schedule ID, instead of going through this nonsense, I can just say the user dot. No. Oh, this needs to be an await, which means this needs to be get user async, which means this needs to be async task. Do that so we get all of our asynchronous threading, and boom goes the dynamite. I still don't have boom goes the dynamite. And that needs to be a command. The user schedule ID. Fantastic. Now, why don't you like that? Dot value. Fantastic. Or it's logged out user. Oh, I put a semi at the end again, didn't I? Rats. Yeah, let's tab these. Okay, that's not bad. So now I'll have the user coming back. You can set the naming rules in editor config and make them an error. Ooh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay. So now that I'll have the schedule ID coming up, I still need to finish enhancing the database by adding that migration. So let's go over to the command line. Let's add that migration. So it's down in source. That's the server-side project that this is in. .NET EF migrations add schedule ID to user. So this is going to create a migration. That's something that defines how we're going to change the database to support this new field, this new property that we put on the user object. Well, we need to create that column in the database so the two match. So we know where to pull the data from in order to put into that property in our C# class. So that's what this is doing, is it's generating the change for the database and the appropriate mappings so that we can connect the two. If you have schedule, sentiment analysis is happy. 92.5. Love the schedule. Schedules are amazing. We love sentiment analysis here. Build failed? What? What? Are you kidding me? Build failed my foot. Well, it's still running. That's why. Look at that. That's why. Because that's still running.
And you blew it!
And I did. I blew it. Sorry about that, friends. Let's fix that. Oh, Lee's got a clip for me. Yes, oh my, indeed. Let me see Lee's clip here while we're waiting for this to go. I think that's very valuable for anybody in our industry to have a leader that's willing to discuss what they're looking for and what their process is, because it's not about improving just Microsoft. It's also about making sure we have a good industry, right? And let's address what we're doing poorly as an industry and set some leadership, some thought leadership around it. I think he's done a great job. I think that's very valuable for I forgot to specify the context for that. Rats. What is it? Dash context, and this is going to be application DB context, right? That one. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we can come up with here. 99.6. Woo! Oh man, that chat room is so positive. Don't anybody be sad. All right. Wrong window. .NET EF database update. And I'm going to start my SQLite DB browser. There it is. So I can just touch it. Jason Bach is here. Hey, Jason, good to see you. 9Nick6, everything is cool. Look at that. Look at that. You know what? Everything is so cool.
Everything is awesome.
It's so awesome. It's so great. Every time I play that everything is awesome, we should get, everybody should get a cookie. No, I don't know. There's person ID. Oh, you dog. Application DB context. Update that one for me. Do it again. Do it again. All right, we'll do it again.
Everything is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Come on. Update the thing. There we go. Now we know.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yes. I think I need to reopen the database. So if I go to users, there it is. There's schedule ID. So my one person that I have in here, my one lonely person browse table. I've got two of them. Oh, no. 1 and 2 are the schedule IDs. All right. And interestingly, they don't have a name. How's that work? Whatever. And nor do they have an email address or anything. Well, wait, that goes back. Those are in the user table over here, so we'll browse that. There he is. That's the person. Great. Now you can see all my security information. Look at that. Person ID is 2. That means the schedule ID here should be 2. 2, right? Do I have that right? If I look at the person record over here, that's not the person. Right, person 2 has schedule 2. Good. Okay. So now, if I close this, do you want to save changes? Yes. Okay. If I rerun the application, browse, log in as me, and browse to the availability, I should, well, I'm not going to get the, maybe I will. Log in. Loading. Back to the home page. Look at that. Okay, so the image isn't there, but it's got me. Good. Availability. Okay. Here's the next piece. We've got to have it get the data. Yeah. We need to have it get the data to return here. So where did it try to navigate to? Oh, I'm feeling good here, chat room. I'm feeling good. Look at all that. It's glorious. Yep, that doesn't exist. But this is trying to go to /API/schedule/Y1. Oh, we hard-coded that. It's not getting it out of the user object. Oh my gosh. CLW is here. Corey Hurricane Weathers, thank you so much for that very kind raid. Welcome, raiders. My name is Jeff Fritz, and we're writing a little bit of Blazor code today. Look at the hurricane storms there. How's it going? We've been hooking up security. We've been hooking up some data fetch in our migration of a server-side Blazor application to a client-side Blazor application, and I'm almost done hooking this up. Silicon Orchid, yo, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm gonna freak out. So many folks joined us. Thanks so much for joining us, Raiders. Hey, Corey, what were you doing over there on your channel before you joined us? Let us know there. So, and can I get a shout out for CLW in the chat room, please? So I'm going to go back to this availability page and make sure that it's requesting the data properly. I think I hard-coded that schedule ID in there. We can take a look at it. Playing with MockQ and MS Test on your Blazor app. Nice. Testing Blazor is an interesting problem We took some steps last night, thanks to some help from our friend Simon, to pull out all of our code that was in our Blazor components as now view models, so we can test those directly. So thank you, Carrie, for the shout out. Appreciate you dropping that in there. So hopefully that'll allow us to test our view models appropriately, so we get that logic working. We haven't built those tests yet, so you're a step ahead of me. MVVM in Blazor, absolutely, Entity Atom. Yeah. So this image isn't linked properly. We'll figure out what to do with that image. So we have maybe we'll use something out of Font Awesome for that instead of an image, so it's a font that folks are able to use. But I want to double check the links coming back and forth here so we can see that the data is properly being fetched for my availability. Control component. I keep wanting to say control. I'm a long-time web forms person, so I keep thinking controls, So thanks so much. Did I see? Hey, Chef Brent, good to see you. I didn't call that out earlier. Welcome. You used MVVM and everything. Absolutely. For sure. MockQ and MS Test should absolutely work with Blazor. You should be able to do that. And I agree. Razor Pages in MVC is tricky to test because it's stateless. So I want to move as much of my code as possible out of the view and into a view model, into a page model, a component model, something that's a concrete class that I can test. And even then, some of the things that it does, I don't really need to test. Setting properties, that type of thing. But is it fetching the data properly? Well. That is something that we should absolutely test. So let me look at the availability over here. All right, so it's going to do this on an async. This is in my view model that Simon helped us out with here, availability view model. And if I scroll down in here, it gets the availability here, and it's going to pass in my schedule state, schedule ID. Where's it getting that? My schedule state. Where's it getting my schedule state? My schedule state is being built, right? It's right there. Rats. Okay. We can do this. So, okay, we were getting inside of the login component, right? No. Where were we getting the user information? We got the user information somewhere, right? Oh, we got the user information inside of this, right? Identity equals user info is authenticated, and it's a new claims identity. So we got a new claims principal with that identity returned. Okay. We got the user object. Right, the user object is being returned it's being returned right there. We should be able to put that into the application state, right? Take care, Ancient Coder. Thanks so much for joining us. Oh my goodness. Thank you for following. Is that Julols0608? Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm getting the user information from the server. It's got... Here we go. I've got the claims identity here, and it's got the user info that came back here has the schedule ID in it. Let's create the claim here for it so that it's available. Right? Right? I think I want to do that. Right, if I create a new claim, and we call it schedule ID, and I'm going to want to replace that, and I was doing that earlier, right? And we'll put the user ID, the schedule ID into it, which is user info schedule ID. Yeah, right? New claim. Now, why don't you like that? What? String type, string value. Okay, so let's toString that chalupa, right? Okay, good. So now I've got the schedule ID inside my user as a claim. And all that stuff I had in the extension methods up here for working with this, I think I also want to have in the client side as well. Right? So these two, let me put that into my domain project so that I can share it with my user info. Oh, claims they make me want to hide when trying to unit test against them. Well, we're creating them, right? And passing them around, and we're using abstract objects to reference them. So I'm pretty okay with it. I'm going to create a class up here. I'm just going to call it extension methods, and we'll end up copying these two into it. Right? Make this public static. Paste that in. So now, let's just make sure. Look at that. Oh. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I'm going to go into my user info here, and that static class that I had for my user over here, for the claims for that, so they're just defined in the same place. I'll do like that. And over here, I'll say, oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm sounding like I'm from South Philly now. All right. So I feel good about that, and that looks good. Let me go back over, because I just inadvertently broke. There was somewhere over here where I was using the getPersonID extension method. I have a find and replace that appeared way off screen here. So it's that one extension method. I guess we're not using it anywhere. All right, fine. So then if I go get rid of that. Don't need that one. No, I needed that one. That was the one I was trying to work on. Rats. It was down here. This. Oh no, I'm turning it into a claim. I need it when I'm doing the availability, right? Here, the schedule state. The schedule ID is, and can I do just user? No. Can I do? How can I get to user? Oh well, I'm in the view model. I don't have the user. No. We had it in the nav. Let's go see. I need to get the user object so I can pass that in, right? You know what I'm saying here, chat room? You know what I'm saying. Help me out here. Right there. Context user. So if I'm over here, can I say context? No. How do I get that context? It's a parameter to the authorized view. It's the authentication state context. Can I inject that? Nah, it's not an HTTP context helper. I think can I inject it? Right, it was authentication state. Let's see if we can inject that. Authentication state, and we'll call it context. So then context dot user, right? And that's our claims principal. Now, why doesn't it like that? Yes, it does exist. This doesn't take a claims principal. Haha. And let's save off the user. What do you mean? Okay, fine. User equals user. Yep, create that field. So now, where was it? My schedule state. Where was it? It's right there. There we go. User dot. Okay, here's where I should be able to reach into that user info. Isn't it already injected in imports.razor? No. No. But I'm going to use that user info. Is the domain referenced here? Yeah. Okay. So it's in user info. I should, no, it's in the extension methods here. Right, I'm on a claims principal. I should be able to hit get claim value as int. Where'd it go? I've gone too far. There it is. Bingo. And the claim name I'm going to get is user info claims schedule ID. Nameless. Thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate you joining us. There we go. So now I've got the schedule ID. Now it should just ripple through and work properly. Right? All right, let's see. So I'll run this. Oh no, look at our sentiment there. Down to 20. Ugh. It should be, context should be available, but it wasn't. We'll see if it has a collision here and we run into an issue. Oh no, free Kevin. I see what you're doing there. Welcome. Hello. Good to see you. Can I convert from string to claims identity? My user does not contain a definition for claims. All right, hang on. Here it is. This is going to now come out of user info. Okay, that's fixed. What was the other error? No other error. It just works. Oh my gosh.
Lean 1977 just resubscribed for 4 months. Do need to get going now. Have a fun rest of stream, folks.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining us, Lee. I appreciate that sub, and we'll make a donation to Coder Dojo. Really appreciate that. One of the Kevins is here, yes. So that loaded properly. There, it even got my login information. So it should have my schedule ID now when I go through to availability, and it should, or it won't, load properly, and it didn't. Yeah.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Okay. Where did it try to go? Right? Where did it try to go? went to user, just slash user. Okay. Well, it looks like it's still trying to load here and not behaving properly. Probably because that broke it. All right, clear this availability or not. Unhandled exception rendering component. Cannot provide a value for property context. There is no registered service of type authentication state. Yes, there is. Okay, so I'm not getting the authentication information being passed through. So how do we get that passed through to us? Let's go back to here. Authenticate users. Right here. MDE Box. Thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate you joining us. And look forward to seeing you in the chat room. So the cascading application state should be sending through. I mean, I didn't have to inject it. Can I just reference the @ context and it'll be there? Are you right about that? Right? If I don't put that and I try to rebuild. What's wrong? I'm on the right today. I've been on the right for a while because I've got a new camera over here. Would you like to continue and run? No. Yeah, context doesn't exist. So that context is coming from somewhere. Right? And I copied and pasted it in. It's right here and it knows. I think it's a parameter in the authorized view, right? I can't drill into authorized view and see where it's getting it. Wow, Dacron. Wow. Never sick of C#. Never sick of it. Yeah, where's it getting the context? I don't think I need to do authorized view might be. Do I really want to wrap my entire? Oh, wait a sec. There was a thing with the attribute. There we go. When we do that, then we should have access to your information. Yeah. Right, because you need to be authorized here. So that, it's still not giving me context user. Can it just say user? Does it know what that is? Nope. Continuing looking here. All right, let's take it easy there with Dacron. Let's see here. Back in the order controller code. Well, that's in the order controller, right? You can use a cascading parameter to receive a task authentication state. Well, there we go. There we go. That's it right there. Right? If I do that, now I've got it right there because it's going to pass in the authentication state. I think that works. I think that works. Or maybe it doesn't. Authorized attribute could not be found. What? Authorize is in what namespace? Right? It's going to be over here. Oh, thanks. Is it Microsoft ASP.NET Core authorization? Let me put that into my imports over here. Need nat in front of it. Now let's see if we get it. Nope, still an error here. What do we got? Task authentication state does not contain a definition for user. What do you mean? Go back to availability. Not the view model. Rats. This one. Okay, because context is still that. It's the wrong imports. No, I got the authorized working. That's the right authentication state. See, I'm in an awaiter. I'm in the task here. Yeah. Let's see what we can find for that. Yep, it's returning it. Okay. Expose it as a cascading parameter. Private task this. Okay. Oh, we need to await it first before we do anything. And then we can interact with it. That's okay. I was hoping there was a easy way we can go through that. So let's do this. Right. Var context. Let's call this. Yeah, let's call this context. Equals await context, and then we can pass state dot user. That should work now. Now we should have it because I need to await, make sure I have this thing, then I can pass in the user information. Building. Get them doggies building. Come on. Yes.
You can do it!
Oh, we can do it. Here we go. Loading. Let me go to availability now. Oh, I'm not signed in. Look at that. Oh, that worked. It's not what I wanted to do, but it worked. That's the important part.
And then?
We'll log back in. And I'll click the availability. And... okay. Not completely wrong yet. I still got a 404 not found. Okay, that's on the user. That's fine. Let me look at the network tab. Refresh that. Loading the availability. Yeah. Okay. So it did fetch API schedule 2. Good. Response. We got that.
What'd you do?
I don't know what it did, but it got it. I've got my data. It's there. So it's not time slots yet. It's not expanded yet. Actually, that's really good. It's giving me back the schedule. Now we got to cross into that last piece of expanding this and making it work properly. We should have some applause to that. Absolutely. Yeah. Isn't there? I thought we had an applause command. That's not help. That's not help. Right? Now there is no applause command. We can build an applause command. So I'm feeling really good about that because short of formatting the data properly, right, which is going to be expanding and managing that object, we're in really great shape. So all of the security things at this point work. They do the things they're supposed to. I'm down a couple levels here. Finished security connection. So now you can log in. Nope. I didn't type that right. That time I did. I'm not going to push this. I'm going to take a look at the log and I'm going to rebase. Yeah. So I want to go back 2, 3. I want to rebase 3 back. And I'll merge into the schedule UI. So I'm going to rebase -I head tilde 3. Right? That's not right. Nope. I didn't make any changes, and you're still gonna break on me? Go back 2. Still not quite where I want to be. I wanted head 3, so it goes back to this one. Oh, that's what we merged in from schedule UI. Yeah, all right, so I do want head 2. Okay. So let's get rid of this, squash it. Okay. Tyson Benson, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Hi, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, friends. And Mike's here. Hi, Mike. It's Mike. It's good to see you.
It's illegal in 9 countries.
No, it's not illegal in 9 countries. It's Mike. Finish the security connection. Let's finish that. Yep. So this is different in the GitHub version of it, and that's okay because I'm now going to check out and jump over to the feature branch. Yes, and I'm going to merge in that spike that I just did. There we go. And I'll push those changes. And I'll delete now the feature spike. Git branch -d spike. Cool. I'm feeling really good about that. That's a couple of really good features to get that security piece knitted up. But this leaves us with that next step. I don't have GitHub open. Do I? Let me go back to the shared project for this. That one. And if we look at the issues, this is done. So I'm going to create a pull request that says it addresses issue 52. We're going to compare across forks because we're going to go from mine. mine to over here. There we go. So this will merge in those changes for security. Yep. That's the wrong name. Wrong name. Implemented security in Blazor client to address 52. Security web client. Fantastic. It is queuing up. It is running this over on Azure DevOps. You can always click through here and take a look at Azure DevOps and watch all the things that are being built and that are running for the project over here. And you can see it's in progress. I can click through and see it if I'd like. I can click through and see more details. There we go. SVN for life, says Coding Gorilla. Oh, no. Finally started your work placement. Congratulations, Mike. How life has improved with Git compared to VSS. Yeah. SourceSafe was many, many moons ago. Long time ago. So this should build. It should run properly. It was running properly locally here, so there's no reason that it shouldn't out there. We'll merge this in and let it fly. Meanwhile, while that's going, I'm going to run over and let's talk about the bot here real quick, because there were a couple of neat features here, and I want to fix that Scott command here. I've got some dependencies here. Cryptic Enigma, update the Skeet command to use John Skeet in the Chatbot test fixes. Ah, that's a good one to bring in here. Very good point. Yeah, we got to fix the tests. Bring that in there. Thank you. Thanks very much for fixing that. There we go. And I still don't... Yeah, Boom Goes the Dynamite. I need Boom Goes the Dynamite. I think that would be really great to put in here. All of these enhancements from Dependabot I'm going to hold off on. But we did have the tacos text command. We need a sentiment command, Hugo's suggesting here. Yeah, there we go. This was right what Cryptic Enigma fixed for us. So I will close that issue. And let's see if we can put this tacos text command out here. Tacos text command to increase chat sentiment. Is there a tacos emote here on Twitch? I thought there was. No, there is no taco emote. We need a tacos emote. How do we put a taco emote out there without tacos? I don't have tacos as an emote. 100% happiness sentiment. Nice. Nice. What should the tacos command say? We don't have a taco emote. Is there something else that we could use to hype the chat room? Right? Gotta figure that out. The sentiment command Hugo is suggesting here, explanation of the sentiment analysis score and visual elements, the smile, frown, and arrow. Current sentiment is blah, 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 and trending downward. The trend is mostly positive in the last 5 minutes. Yeah, we can do something like that. Yeah, who's got that taco? It is just the just the standard emoji. Oh, well, crumbs. We can do that. And you know what? I think I have a noon today. Do I have a noon today? I might have a noon meeting today. Checking. I want to make sure I don't have to go running here real quick. No, I've got a little bit of time. This is going to take a little bit to put in, but you're right. If we can just do... Oh, it's a BTTV. Not everybody has BTTV. Yeah. We could use the BTTV. What else should we do? What else should we say? You know what? Let me copy this issue into the chat room. Chat room, let me know what you think we should do there. I think you've got some ideas there. Sounds like you might have a better lead on what you'd like to see when we say tacos. Maybe we say tacos for everyone. I don't know. Let me know what that should be. And this is a text command. This is something we can implement. It's just a configuration change to implement. The sentiment's going to take a little bit to work here to pull in that data. But I think we can do that. Let's take a look at that Scott command and see why it's not popping real quick. So the attention command runs here. And it connects out and does some cool signal R things here. So if we do Scott, there we go. Well, that's a problem. Content/null doesn't exist. Well, now I feel terrible. Now it's not there. All right, so it's not loading the Scott command properly. Let's take a quick look back over here. There we go. Everything built properly for our pull request that we put together for security. Merge that. Yes. Merge. Do the thing. You're a really swell guy, Jeff. There we go. Now I feel better about myself. So why is it finding null? Oh, no. No. Let's jump over to I don't have Stream Tools open here. Let's see if we can fix that Scott command real quick. Because we like the Scott command. Loading. There we go. Stream Tools, Chatbot. Right here. Come on. You make me sad. Oh, it killed the live share, that's why. Come on. Come on, Visual Studio. Restoring NuGet packages. Visual Studio's up to no good. Right? I'm clicking. I'm waiting.
Bueller.
I don't know what it's doing.
Bueller.
I'm caught in somebody's for loop.
Bueller.
Right, look at this. It's just kind of doing nothing.
Bueller.
Okay. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Bueller. And it's not going to close. Hey, Fixter Jake. Hello. Line 170, setting a default. Well, that's a default for how frequently it watches the follower count. And I'm dead. I've now really broken Visual Studio. I've broken Visual Studio so much, it's no longer here. Okay, try this again. Right click, Stream Tools.
Oh my.
It's because I have the browser open with it also. Is VS Code no good? The new is no good. No, we're fine. We're fine. All right, so here we go. Inside the chatbot, we have commands and we have sound effects commands down here. Let's close everything but this. So now we load them from app settings. Right, and we had this exception for the and thens here. Oh. It's not specifically handling when there's just a list of files there, right? So if you look at my app settings, let me show you a thing or two here. We have a section here for sound effects. And there's the oh my sound effect. Here's the and then sound effect and the list of files. There's also down here now the Scott sound effect and the list of Scott files. Well, there is no one file for this, so it doesn't know what to do with it. So what I need to do is I need to tell it when it has a files element. Not just that it's and then, but when it has a files element, count and behave appropriately for that number of files. And it's not going to work yet because we don't have it handling that appropriately. So we should be able to change this quickly, I think. So when it executes, sound effects cooldown. If the command to text right? If the command text is and then, no, I don't want to check that. I want to look at the command. And if it has files, right? If files does not equal null, calculate and then cooldown time. I should rename this. Calculate multiple file cooldown time. If the sound cooldowns contains key and then, no. I want to pass that in as a parameter. And let's call that command trigger. And we'll make that. And so that so now, well, I don't want to actually execute it for and then. I want to execute it for the command text. Okay. File to play is if it's and then. No. I want to do that same check. No longer if it's and then. Identify, and I'm going to rename this to identify multiple effects file name. And I'm going to need to check. Yeah, see, it's looking at this and then files. Look at this. I have that's just wrong. I don't need to look at that. I can look at the actual command definition that was passed in. Oh, it's so good. This is going to need to change also. Identify multiple. So this, I want to pass in the command, the sound effects definition. FX definition, let's call it. Okay. And it's going to be FX definition dot files. And I don't need a to list in there. Yeah. Okay. And then that's the read-only list. FX definition dot files. This file. Oh, here we go. So, here. Okay. I'm going to need to do a little bit more work on this than I've got time for right now. But I think you're seeing what I'm doing here. I need to have a collection of these. Right? These are the list of the multiple files that have been played. So I'm going to finish tricking this out so that it keeps track of the Scots and appropriately makes those available. I'll finish this. I need to rate our next person here and get ready for my meeting that I have coming up here. So I'll share this with you next time. If you watch the repository here on GitHub, Right? If you watch this later today, you'll see a pull request. You'll see a fix as I push through this. Echo Math says, so you run this site locally when I stream? Do I have this hosted somewhere when I stream? That's the disconnect. I run this locally in a container. It's sitting right here. And I'm actually going to be porting this functionality over to our much more sophisticated Quiltoni bot. We're renaming it to the Pixel bot. But we built all kinds of great features for Quiltoni, and we're going to make these available over there as well, and make a much more sophisticated bot that's hosted in the cloud using Kubernetes. And that's taking a little bit of time. There's a little bit of yak shaving that I'm finishing out there, and I'll share with you as we get through it here. Later in August, we'll come back to it. Not a problem, Echo Math. Very happy to share that. I saw somebody come online. I'm going to change my mind about who we're raiding today. Let me set up for the raid call. And I saw somebody... Yes, big and thens. Let me shut off the other attention here. We're going to raid... I'm going to raid our friend InstaFluff. InstaFluff is getting ready, and he's learning a little bit about Microsoft Azure today. So I'm going to set up so that we can raid over to InstaFluff. Tim Van Monero, great to see you. There's another one of our live coders, one of the latest members of the live coders team. If you're a subscriber, do me a favor. Grab that top line inside the raid call. If you're not a subscriber, that's okay. Grab the second line, just like hi 1234 grabbed. And let's get ready to announce ourselves when we get over to InstaFluff stream, all right? So I'm going to copy that out, put it onto the clipboard with a Control-C, and let's get ready. We're going to go say hi to InstaFluff and support him as he's learning a little bit about Microsoft Azure today. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you same time tomorrow, and we're going to go through and finish off this port of these features to Blazor client side. All righty. Take care. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.